Welcome to part 2. It's the Day 9 Daily. Oh, God, water is so good in LA, where we learn to be a better gamer. It's daily number 434, where we're talking about grouping. Ha! Easy peasy. So, awesome. We spent a pretty long time in the early game talking about, in this situation, this, there. But the important thing is that we arrived at, as I alt-tab over to it, we arrived at something simple like this. We had all these possible pre-warp gate threats. We had all these possible at the time of the warp gate threats. And here, we found a way to answer all of them. But the important aspect of this is we said if he goes for super aggro early game. So let me just throw down this. Okay, if not super aggro. I want to start listing off a ton of things that can kill me off. Let me see here. I actually just expanded this list on my left, which as you can see is my mass PvP opening things. We have Immortals, Blink, DT, 4-gate, Blink, Obs, Mass Gateway, All In, etc. What I want to do is I just want to create some simple, broad groups. Let's go ahead and look at where Grubby's situation is right now as we pop on over. He's getting a really fast observer out to sort of go check up on his opponent. He's sort of moving down here, getting a sense of what his opponent is up to. Now, I'm going to stop right around here. What I'm going to note is that if we get an observer into his base, we don't actually have to do grouping anymore. Because a group is a way to generally describe a bunch of strategies, like super aggro early game. If we get an observer in his base, we see exactly what he's doing. So that's great. If we went for a fast Phoenix opening and got into his base, we'd see exactly what he's doing. So we don't actually need to do grouping for that much longer. At this point in time, we're going to see out of good friend Grubby is that he is going to be throwing out an Immortal right off the bat. Again, we have, as we remove this, we always have a sentry open in case he wants to do some sort of big attack. But in terms of these big groupings, he's either going to try to kill us with some gateways, or he's going to be going for... Actually, let me rephrase that. So if we come back to grouping, sure, he could maybe try to kill us with gateways. He could try to go fast Blink or fast Zealot leg speed or DTs or Immortals or Colossus or Warp Prism drop. Just make some simple frickin' things at first. There's no reason to go too nuts with it. If he's not super aggro, he could try to do a delayed mass gate attack. He could try to go fast Robo or go fast Twilight. Wow, nice. Now, what I want to do is, before Grubby does his thing and we get to see what he's up to, I want to just ask how we would deal with these, just one at a time. Mass gate attack, I don't know. Easy. Sentry block at ramp. And then we would just build more units. If he goes for fast Robo, well, gee, we're probably going to build some Immortals and then expand. Is this excellent or not? Well, let's just go through the thought. Well, he could either be going for Immortals to attack us. He could be building Immortals for defense. He could be building a Colossus to attack us. Either way, he's not going to be attacking for a while. Not attacking for a bit. In the case of the fast Twilight, he would be probably going Blink or something like that. He could be, he could be going Blink, he could be going DT, etc. But as we're listing out all these, actually what I want to do is I want to change this a little bit. I want to list off some of the possibilities that he can do. Twilight, there we go. Here are the possibilities. If he goes for fast Robo, we can see Colossus Rush, Immortal Rush, Warp Prism, Drop, Rush, Immortal Expo, Immortal Blink, ba-da-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da, Blink Obs, Blink 4-gate, Attack, Speed Zeal, DT Push. As we're seeing all these, it's really scary to start envisioning all these possibilities, and at this phase, this is where we start to freak out. This is where we start, oh god, the overlay. Holy crap, I'm an idiot. Holy crap, I'm dumb. There we go, fixed it. Woo, easy peasy. This is the moment where I think most people's heads start to explode. You don't have to think of it in terms of this. Here is a really easy way to break it down. Is he going to attack kinda early? Or is he going to expand kinda early? What are the attack kinda early attacks? Well, oh, Blink Obs, Blink 4-gate, Immortal Rush, Colossus Rush, let me see here, Warp Prism Drop, maybe. Those sorts of things expand kind of early. Immortal Hangout, DT Rush into, ends up expanding quite early. Some Blink into Expo. Suddenly, these categories I can break into him attacking and being aggressive, or him expanding and sort of playing it out calm. So how am I going to respond? If he attacks kind of early, I'm already building Immortals to defend. Immortals on D. And then here would be Observers on defense. If he expands kind of early, well, let me just do Immortals to attack. 3 gates to reinforce. Immortals to attack. Obs to attack. 3 gates to reinforce. We've suddenly taken our problem and we've just boiled it down to something really simple. Sentries to defend. So suddenly in this grouping situation that we see Grubby in, he literally can pretty blindly just build 2 Immortals right off the bat. Pretty blindly. Why? Because whether we're in this group or this group, hey, we're building Immortals, great. We have 1 sentry open. We can easily throw down a sentry whenever we please to defend. And obviously when we see the Dark Shrine, this is kind of when we end up panicking. Holy crap. But that's okay, because we're just throwing down sentries to force field at the front. We canceled an Immortal. And now we are continuing to put on a little bit of pressure. So what I want to do is, now that we can see everything that's going on, and as a matter of fact, there's an expand going down, we're going to start going through these games a lot faster. As Grubby, you know, he's going to build another Immortal because my opponent either has some DTs out on the map, maybe to do some sort of counter. Well, that's cool. I have this Observer here. My second Observer is here up, getting ready for the attack. These Immortals I built for defense, no worries. I'm now going to use them for offense. And this is honestly one of the most common things, the most common feelings you should have when you're doing these groupings, is that you should either be able to say, aha, if he does this huge range of attacks, I'll defend it. If he doesn't, I can attack. I want that to be your answers, that I have an attack if I'm not going to be the defender. It's way too easy to say, aha, I'm defended against everything. And then he expands and you think, oh shit, I was only thinking about defense. That's the big danger there. So I like that Grubby goes ahead and does this attack because he already built all this stuff for defense, and then he sees an expand, and the last position he wants to be in is a position where he goes, oh crap. So he's going to go ahead and try to do a little bit of reinforcement via the front. He actually built a 4th gateway to do a little bit more of an aggressive play. There's the Blink going down. And because Bling plays very well, Bling's actually going to be able to do a little bit of defense and manage to stay alive. Thank you to some probes. Now, this game is not over. But what I want to do is I want to go back against Bling, and I want to rewatch his opening, and I want to look for all the answers for all these possible groupings. And for every move he does, try to think of all the ways that this helps defend against a full range of strategies. Because you yourself might be playing at, let's say you just bought the game. This is like your first daily you've ever watched, and you're in bronze, and there's too many strategies. It makes your head explode. One of the simplest ways to group things is just say if he expands kind of fast or if he doesn't expand kind of fast. And just break it into those two broad general categories. As you play more and more, she'll maybe break down into if he expands and goes Robo, or if he expands and goes Twilight. You'll break that down into subgroups. But still, start with the most broad groups that you possibly can. So, Bling coming out right now. Bling coming out. Building the gateway somewhat early on. Getting his assimilator. Okay, we can have a super aggro opening or a not super aggro opening. Grubby can either do crazy fast before warp gate action, crazy fast 4-gate action. When his warp gate is done. So what we're going to do is Bling. We're going to get our assimilator down. And look that already, aha, there is the Blink Stalker being, or the regular Stalker being chrono boosted. This is a very clever way to help us deal with early aggression. What happens if one Zealot and 2 Stalkers start to come out very early on? No worries, thanks to our chrono boost, we will meet his 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker with our 2 Stalkers. And how does Bling follow this up? Well, he has control over the center of the map. As the police sirens go by outside. Come on, go by. There we go, excellent. He's going to maintain control of the middle of the map. He's checked around. And notice that all this checking around, this fairly defensive play, leads us to find, yeah, there's no 4 warp gate that's going to be a threat. Maybe this would be the first one, but great. We've pushed it all the way back. If Bling was up against super early aggro, he would just build a sentry. Because he was not up against super early aggro, he builds a Twilight Council and follows it up with a fast Dark Shrine. And there's the other gateways. What if there's some sort of delayed aggression that starts coming up? He can just warp gate in a sentry. Continues to push forward. Continues to push forward. Aha, he's not up against super early aggro. He hasn't scouted his opponent yet. He's either up against someone who's going for fast Twilight Council of his own, or he's up against someone going for fast DT. He's either up against someone who went fast Twilight Council or someone who went fast Robo. So what's Bling going to do? He's going to try to do a little bit of a poke, see what he can find up here. Doesn't really glean too much information. But he has shut down a lot of information at this point because he has control of the map with all these Stalkers. Again, he doesn't need to build a sentry. It's not that he crossed off 4 warp gate. It's not that he crossed off fast 3 warp gate. It's not that he crossed off a fast 1 Zealot 2 Stalker from his list of openings. He crossed off the whole group early aggression. What Bling said is, I am definitively not against super aggro early aggression. I ignore this whole thing, and now I start to move ahead. This is an advantage of thinking in terms of big, broad groups, collections of strategies. If they have a pretty close relationship to one another, then suddenly you can just remove all of them in one fell swoop instead of trying to remove that one and remove that one and remove that one. It's really, kind of a big blessing in Protoss versus Terran, when you can be asking yourself a question like, well, crap, he could be going for Hellion drops or Banshees or fast tank pushes that are really annoying. MVP does those a lot. But when you see like a really early command center, you suddenly just cross off all that whole slew of tech openings. You just get rid of the entire group. So Bling has effectively gotten rid of most of an entire group. Warps in all of these guys. At this point in time, he still could be going for Blink. He still could be going for Robo. He still could be going for Twilight Council. All we know is that it's no super early aggro. So let's continue to think of things in big, broad, generally labeled groups. Okay, cool. We see the Immortal here. We see that he's shooting away at some of our Stalkers. Now, he is either going to go... Or now, what we've effectively done is we've crossed off... Where is this? Aha. What we've effectively done is we have, in this post-warp gate pressure, we have removed these things. They're gone. He could be doing one of these. This whole group, it's important that you can think of this as Twilight Council stuff. Doink, doink, doink. And this whole Twilight Council stuff we can just pop right off the list right away. Just due to the fact that we saw this Immortal kind of quickly. So, let's think in terms of big, broad groups. We know he's going for a Robo. I don't want to worry about big things, or ultra-specific things like, is he going 1 Colossus, 2 Colossus, 2 Immortal, 3 Immortal push, anything like that. He's doing 1 of 2 broad groups. He is going to attack us right now, or he is going to play defensively and just defend for now. We already have our expansion up. He's either attacking or defending. Watch this. We're going to get an Archon and Zealots up. Notice how clever this transition is. The DTs, notice what the DTs did. The DTs actually eliminated a whole group. Fast Twilight Council, we eliminated for one obvious reason. We saw the Immortals. Okay, he's not going Fast Twilight. What if our opponent did go Fast Twilight? He loses, because we got Dark Templar to his main so quickly. Again, you see how we crossed out a whole group? Huck loves going Fast Dark Templar as an opening, because Huck, like many Protosses, has I've seen him lose a lot of games to players who go 4-gate Blink Stalker with no Robo, just mass Blink Stalker. This is what JYP does a lot. So what does Huck do? He just DT rushes to outright kill all that shit, to kill all the stupid fast Blink, the stupid fast Zealot leg speed expands, which is weirdly starting to pop up on the Korean ladder. Just kills all that outright. The whole group's dead. Only really Roboing players is he up against. A Robo player sucks against Zealot Archon. The whole group getting crossed off. Zealot Archon, we've now managed to exploit the way that he is going to be opening. We've looked at this, from Grubby's point of view, we looked at things fairly defensively up until this moment. Does he defend against this? Does he defend against this? Does he defend against this? Aha, he sees an expand. Bam, attack. In Bling's circumstance, we actually did something a little bit more clever, where we said, aha, I'm going to go DT Rush. What does this kill? It kills a whole group of things. It just kills it off. That's another kind of grouping that we're going to look at a lot in the second game that we examined. But still notice how in Grubby's, the fast Zealot... Actually, I'll just come back to it. In Grubby's opening, the fast 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker, 1 Sentry mix that we had by 6 minutes... This mix held off the whole group of early aggression. And likewise, this very fast, this very fast DT play killed off the whole group of Twilight Council plays. So as we speed things ahead, again, we see this very clever response from Bling. Bling kind of messed this up in that he didn't see this pylon here. It would have been nice to be able to knock down the force fields with the Archon and have the Speed Zealots deal with everything kind of easily at the front. Literally, Bling is making the no Stalker force at the front. And Bling barely manages to defend. But hey, no problem. Our opponent was either expanding, or our opponent was either attacking, which is what we killed off, or if Grubby was expanding, we're going to push with Speed Zealots and an Archon and just kill him, because he's going Immortal Expand, which we are really, really, really comfortable with. So this is one of the reasons why Bling is pushing again. Yeah, that's actually a good place to end for part 2. So in part 2, we looked a lot at thinking in terms of defensively, how we can hold off these whole groups of strategies, and how offensively we can kill off whole groups of strategies. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go on to part 3, where we're going to look at a more aggressive opening by both of the two players. And we're going to see how it ends up affecting all the possibilities that our opponents can be up against. And we're going to see that not that much ends up being left over. And even what is left over, we're just going to plop down into some nice groups. See you then. Coming back.